In today's video, we're going to give you all the insight you need to know about the brand new Borresen Acoustic T-Series. Make sure you check out this video all the way to the end because we're going to compare and contrast the brand new T-Series with the original Borresen O-Series. In the brand new Borresen T-Range, we have essentially three models. We have the stand mount or monitor called the T1, a slender floor stander called the T3, and a big room-filling floor stander called the T5. Each size will fit a different room accordingly. The T1, while it can fill a big room, it also works really well in small rooms, offices, where the T3 is more sized for medium-sized rooms or normal listening rooms, which we call in the US, and then the T5, of course, will fill any size room. Now, you can certainly put the T1 into a huge room. We've done it at many shows, and you will get incredible bass response. But of course, we have the three different sizes and the three different price points. The T1 is about $55,000, the T3 is $110,000, and the flagship T5 is $225,000. Let's take a closer look under the hood and see what you get for this kind of investment. What is super exciting about the T-Series, besides its beautiful aesthetic, of course, is the performance. And this speaker was derived from the Borresen M-Series. That's the flagship series where cost is no object. The designer was given a free pass to design anything he wanted, regardless of cost. The T-Series is the direct descendant of that, and there's a lot of trickle-down technology. The drive units have a different look to them. They have kind of a silvery finish to them. Well, behind that is the spread toe carbon membrane, the same base membrane that he uses in the M-Series. On the T-Series, it takes a skin layer of some exotic materials to create this really warm, inviting sound. But behind it is where it gets really interesting because the M-Series has the 3D printed zirconium basket that we've shot a bunch of videos about, right? It's like the basket alone is $3,000. This speaker also has that same 3D printed basket, but instead of being zirconium, to save a little bit of money, it's titanium. So hence the T-Series has 3D printed titanium baskets. Moving on to the cabinet, you have some of Borresen's most advanced and exotic cabinets. High gloss walnut veneers, which is really important because it gives it a natural beauty, but the high gloss lacquering makes it last a lifetime. And if the burl walnut or the veneer is not to your liking, they're available in painted finishes like black or white, or if you're willing to wait, we can even custom paint them in a really, really cool design. So imagine matching this speaker to your exotic Lamborghini in a bright green or something like that. You know, we can definitely accomplish it with the T-Series. The external bracing on the cabinet has been significantly improved. We have carbon fiber inlays supporting the cabinet at its most resonant point. So you've got a larger cabinet in the T-Series as well as carbon fiber reinforcement. So taking a closer look at that carbon and the overall design, shape, function of the cabinet, you can see a lot of inspiration from not only Formula One cars, but also nautical themes. Michael had been looking at a lot of high-performance boats and sailing. These guys are Danish, they spend a lot of time on the water, and these new cabinets definitely have some of that high performance mixed with some nautical theme to it. Now let's get into specifics what each model offers. The Borresen T1, the reference stand mount, $55,000 per pair, including the stands. This speaker comes with one 5-inch driver and of course the coveted Borresen planar ribbon tweeter. This is a true two-way speaker. So the guys that love, and women that love a monitor sound, outside of the Borresen M1 at $100,000, this is the best monitor money can buy. So if you're looking for that extreme coherence, or you have a smaller room, or you just love a monitor like so many audiophiles do, this is the speaker for you. The stand is not just beauty, it is very functional. You'll see between the top plate and the bottom of the speaker are 3 specific cutouts that accept the ANSUS darks. That's the ball bearing resonance control device. Those lock into the speaker, so you set the speaker on the darks, and it actually decouples the speaker from the stand. If you want to take performance even further, the stand also accepts the same dark, so you can decouple the stand from the surface it's sitting on. So it decouples the stand from the surface it's sitting on, and then of course the speaker comes decoupled from the stand. Let's move over to the T3. $110,000 slender floor stander in the Silver Supreme configuration. This speaker is a 2.5-way design. So Michael Borresen never does a 3-way design. He is very concerned with the phase shift that happens over the mid-range frequencies when you do a 3-way design. So even Michael's most exotic speaker today, the M6, is a 2.5-way design. In that same vein, this speaker, you'll see 3 drivers, but it is still a true 2.5-way design. It gives you the coherence, kind of interconnection to the speaker using a very simple crossover versus going to a 3-way. Here you have 2 dedicated bass drivers of the 5-inch, the exotic, the same titanium 3D printed baskets. Here you get a dedicated mid-range, and then of course the planar ribbon tweeter. So how it's different going back to the T1 is this is a mid-bass driver. It plays mid-range and bass frequencies. When you go to the 2.5-way design, Michael gives you a dedicated mid-range and then the mid-bass drivers. Finally, if budget isn't a concern or room is not a concern, we have the flagship Borresen T5. This baby on the spec sheet scales down to about 25 hertz. In reality, in room, it goes as low as you need it to. It is a very powerful speaker, but it's very balanced, very articulate, very detailed. What's exciting about this speaker is physicality. You get 4 dedicated 8-inch bass drivers. And in the middle, you get a mid-range, tweeter, mid-range array, so an MTM array. Still a 2.5-way design, but with 4 8-inch drivers supporting the speaker and laying the foundation for any type of music. So it's great if you want to listen loud, if you like classical music that extends very low, or you just want a very live experience, or the budget just allows, get the T5. They're incredible. Something that's very exciting, but you can't really see it, is what's inside these cabinets. As you guys know, Audio Group Denmark is all about noise control. They have the sister company, Ansys, right? We handle a lot of their cables, their noise suppression devices, their power distribution blocks. Well, these speakers are loaded with Ansys technology. A neat feature is they have a BNC terminal on the back of each speaker. That BNC terminal accepts a special 14-volt DC input from a power supply. Now, the speakers do come with a power supply that you plug into the wall. But as an option, as an upgrade you might consider, is you can add the Ansys power box. And then you run a set of cables from that power box into the back of the speakers. Now, what are we doing with this 14 volts DC? It's a great question. Inside each speaker is a layer of circuit boards. These circuit boards have the Ansys Tesla coil technology that does require external power to run and clean up the noise around the system. While these aren't active speakers, you can actually run active noise control technology inside each of them. Another awesome feature about the new Borresen T-Series is the T3s and T5s are bi-wireable. So if you want to take the performance even further, you can add additional amplifiers and really amplify the control and the precision of the speaker. Now, if bi-amping is not in the budget or the goal, it does add a level of complexity. The speakers come with top-of-the-line Ansys Gold Signature Y adapters. So it will bridge the channels together, so you could just use one traditional amplifier channel per speaker if you don't want to bi-wire. The T-Series is available in 2 versions, the Silver Supreme model, which we've talked about a lot, as well as the cryogenically treated version. Now, the Silver Supreme version, it comes already cryogenically treated. However, on the cryo-treated version, it reduces the price considerably because there are no longer silver rings in each side of each driver. To give you an idea, each driver in the Silver Supreme version has like 1 kilogram of pure silver, or 2.2 pounds. Times the number of drive units, it gets very expensive, especially like on the T5. The price points for the cryo versions are considerably more cost effective. For example, the T1 is $38,500, the T3 is $72,500, and the T5 in the cryo version is $145,000. What do you pair your new T-Series speakers with to drive them properly? Now, the T-Series is definitely a reference product, so you do want to put considerable budget into what's powering them and what's driving them. One example we love is that AVIC U588 that I just turned on. That is an all-in-one reference piece from AVIC. It's certainly not our most expensive nor our highest performing piece, but it works really well with the T-Series. It is $35,000, but it is the entire system. It's a 600 watt per channel amplifier. It is a world-class preamp, a world-class streamer, a world-class DAC with the inversion feature that we love, and it does everything. So you just add your power cord, your speaker cables, and you literally can drive the T5 Silver Supreme editions with no problem. Now, if your budget allows and you're willing to invest a little bit more in your T-Series reference level speakers, we would, from here, move you over to our favorite, the 880 series from Avic. That is the series that's co-designed by Flemming Rasmussen and Michael Borresen, and it is the absolute reference of what Avic Audio Group Denmark know how to do. Now, we know a lot of our clients and ourselves like the synergy between Audio Group Denmark products, right? Avic electronics, Borresen speakers, ANSUS cables, perfect match. But some of our clients have other preferences, and a lot of our folks are running Macintosh with their Borresen speakers. Surprising to some, it's actually a really good combination. So if the budget doesn't allow for the Avic electronics, or you're looking for a different flavor, maybe a little bit of tube, check out Macintosh here at the store. It's a great combination as well.
Teach me a little bit about the differences in these two speakers.
This monitor is absolutely one of the finest monitors in hi-fi. There's no question. This speaker put Borresen acoustics, as we know today, on the map. And Dano's right, she was responsible for importing it, introducing North America to this speaker, and it is incredible. And so what's kind of odd to say today is, you know, why is this one so much better? And we get this question a lot from clients, and also what's interesting to ask today is, like, how do you best the best? And Michael's done that with the new T-Series. A question we get asked often is, what's different? And this is the first time I've ever seen them directly compared side by side.
Yeah.
At first glance, you can see the cabinet is completely different. This cabinet is much more voluminous, and what that means is it plays louder, it plays bigger, the bass is deeper, the bass is tighter. He still uses a honeycomb layer in the middle, so it's still a sandwich membrane like you found here.
Okay.
But the reason you don't see the checkers here is they take this membrane and send it to the Danish Institute of Technology.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. And then they put a skin layer of exotic materials, of course, Michael.
Right.
So it's, you know, it's probably got some zirconium or titanium, all sorts of crazy materials over the top of it. And why does he do that? Because he loves the resonant property of exotic materials on top of the membrane. The O series had this third terminal in one speaker only, and that was the 05.
Yeah, the biggest one.
The big one.
Got it.
The $225,000 reference. You'll see Michael has added this same terminal from the 05, the old reference, to the T1, T3, and T5. So all three models.
Range.
So now we can run the T-Series with active ANSUS noise suppression technology inside the cabinet.
Even at the T1.
Even at the T1.
That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, a couple other points that we didn't touch on. You'll see this was the beautiful walnut veneer.
Right.
Burl walnut veneer. Michael was inspired by our vintage Eames chair here. Applied that to the O series. I even like this finish more. So it's a high gloss walnut. The reason I like the high gloss is it shows the depth of the veneer better. It doesn't kind of wash.
Right.
But the other thing is it's protected. So like a lot of our clients, whether they're in the Caribbean, where the veneer can sometimes fade or be, you know, suffer some
influenced by the climate.
Humidity, dryness can really impact this. This veneer is more protected with the clear coat lacquer. So the stand is also greatly enhanced.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
Greater stability, greater adjustability, outriggers, better resonance control properties of the new stand. So even the stand has been upgraded.
Enhanced.
This has been the Borresen T-Series segment. I hope you guys learned a lot about the different models, the new technology, and even saw that comparison where we compared the O series versus the T series. Now remember, we might be the only shop in the world with all three models on permanent display. So come to Next Level Hi-Fi, book your appointment, and hear the T1, T3, and T5 in an ideal environment with all sorts of different electronics. Hope you guys liked the video. Subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one.